Yeah, I can stern dismissal. That is the game. Hey, Menacing MTG here, and we have a mono blue tempo deck. Kind of unique. Got some of the Kaldheim stuff in here and some older stuff in here. Again, as you may know, if you've watched some of my videos, I like to do things that are unique and, a little different twist than what is currently going on. And I think I've got something here because I think I played 10 or 11 games and only had 2 losses with this deck. And so I got some games to show you, and a lot of control and counter spells. So let's take a quick look at counter spells first. So we have 3 essence captures, 2 drop to counter target creature spell. We have 1 Jawari Disruption, and that is an instant that counters a spell unless the controller plays 1. So it's a nice cheap bounce, but it also can serve as a land if you're in a pinch. A single Lofty Denial, again a 2-drop counter spell unless the controller pays 1. If you control a creature with flying, that counter that spell unless the controller pays 4. And we do have some flyers in this deck. Then we have 4 Negate, 2-drop counter non-creature spell. And then we have 2 Hypnotic Sprite, which is serving double duty here, and its instant is counter target spell with a converted mana cost of 3 or less. And then it's a 2-drop flyer, 2/1 flyer. Then we have Cancel. So we have a single Cancel in this deck, 3-drop counter target spell. And again, counter target spell, saw it coming. And this has the added feature of Foretell, which is really great. So you can lock one of these up if you have enough mana and be able to play 2 counter spells in a turn. And let's see. Then we have a single Rewind. And this is great for kind of the mid game where you can counter a spell and then untap 4 lands and be able to play something else. And we do have a little bit of flash in here. So yeah, and then finally we have 3 Shark Typhoon, which can be used anytime to cycle and generate a flying shark token, and then can also be placed on the board as an enchantment. And whenever you cast a spell, create an XX shark creature token with flying equal to the amount of X that you spent. So if you toss a negate down, you get a 2/2 flying shark token in addition to the spell. So that's great. But you can also, just throw out a flyer to block something and take something off the board. So additionally, we have some card drawn here. Before we talk about creatures, we have 2 opts, and then we have 2 winged words, because we do have several flyers in here, or things that can become flyers. And so this costs 1 less to cast if you control a creature with flying and you draw 2 cards. So you can cast it for 2 and draw 2 cards, which is amazing. Or you can cast it for 3 and without a flyer and draw 2 cards, which is amazing enough. Okay, so now let's move on to one last thing before the creatures. We have 2 Stern Dismissal in here, and you can return a creature or enchantment an opponent controls to its owner's hand. It's instant, so you can do it on their turn, and then freshen up the next turn. So yeah, that's a great card. Now let's talk creatures. So we have 3 Ascendant Spirits, and I haven't really seen tempo decks with this in it. Of course, it's a new Kaldheim card, but it's really great in this deck in that it comes on for a 1-drop, so you can still have mana to have a counter spell in hand. And then, this is loaded up with nothing but snowland, so you can, again, uh, have the opportunity to boost it up to a 2/3. And then the turn after that, if you can pick and choose with this card. You can continue to protect it, and when you're able, boost it up. The second time, you spend 3 snow mana, and you can boost it up to become a 4/4 flyer. And I haven't done it yet with this deck. Achieved the last level where it's a 6/6 flyer with, when it deals combat damage, draw a card. I have not obtained that portion yet. I have gotten it as a flyer several times, but really, this is a tempo deck, so you're not in need of big cards, but it is a possibility that could happen. Okay, so yeah, 3 of those. Then we have 3 Fairy Vandals, and this has Flash and is flying. So Flash is really a great feature in this deck. If you have the opponent with a 1/1 flyer that's coming in, you can flash this on, kill it. Um, Whenever you draw your second card, put a +1/+1 counter on Fairy Vandal. It can get actually fairly formidable in a deck like this. Um, then we have the 2 Hypnotic Sprite, which I mentioned earlier. And we have 4 Brazen Borrower. So, of course, this does double duty as well. You can use its 2-drop instant to return a target permanent, not just a creature, to its owner's hand. So we have 2 Stern Dismissal and 4 Brazen Borrowers to be able to just frustrate the hell out of the opponent. They both are instant, so you can do them, at the end of their turn, then freshen up and have counter spells. You can also flash in the borrower as a flyer after you've used up its instant, which is fabulous. Okay, and then we have the last card to talk about here is the Sea Dasher Octopus, which you can drop in, has Flash, which is awesome. You can mutate it as Flash, you can flash it in as a creature on its own. And the kick with this card is that whenever the creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Okay, so so you might flash this in and toss it on Fairy Vandal, for example. So then every time Fairy Vandal attacks, you're drawing a card, which is just fabulous. So we have 3 of these in here. So they're versatile. You can use them on their own or toss them on something else. And that's pretty much it. Let's look at the lands, because there's a little bonus action over here. And that is that we have 19 snow-covered islands and 2 Faceless Havens. And Faceless Havens for 3 snowdrop can become a 4/3 creature with Vigilance. So that's fabulous. So a little extra creature action here. So let's just quickly count up the creatures that we have here. 3, 6, 8, 12, and 3 more, which is 15. But don't forget, Shark Typhoon can generate creatures, and Faceless Haven can generate creatures. So again, I've had huge success with this deck. If you haven't played kind of a tempo counter deck like this, which I have played plenty, but I'm not a refined blue counter deck guy. It's not what I tend to gravitate towards. I have always had a few of them, and Izzet, of course, are great options as well. And I'll be doing a deck in Izzet as well at some point with some similar themage. But this really works great. So if you want to get your feet wet with a counter deck, this is a good one. Really great, not terribly expensive, and throwing any number of Ascendant Spirits in from 1 to 3 is a great choice. You can protect it pretty easily because it comes on as a 1 and buff it as you're able. So there it is. Great deck. I love it. It's been very successful. I hope you enjoy the videos. Hey, if you haven't done so thus far, please consider hitting subscribe. And thank you very much for watching. Have a great night. Okay, we'll keep this. We'll be looking for more islands. And there we go. will run opt on their turn, most likely. Okay, excellent, more land. We have negate. We have stern dismissal. Okay, and I can see what we're going to be doing here. Bit of a standoff. We can flash in Sea Dasher. Yeah, we'll give it a try. Okay, yeah, they stopped that. That's too bad. Okay, now the question is, will they be able to stop what we have next? Which is Ascendant Spirit. And they do not have that, and we'll immediately make it bigger. Which means we've opened the door for them. Okay, good news there. We have oodles of mana. We have a negate. We have this. Let's see, do I want to spend 3 here? Yes, I do. That's going to do some significant damage. We have the negate to protect it. We're going to let them draw the cards as much as I hate to. Okay. So they're loading up with things. 6 mana. When they do not take any action. Now we throw up another land. And we have an Essence Scatter and a Hypnotic Spire and a negate. So I think what we're going to do is just sit here and attack. And rather than bump, I want to have multiple counter spells. Okay, so the question here is, do we go ahead and stop this? I say yes. Okay, now it's their turn, so they could remove or whatever. Okay, we do have options here. And we're just going to come on in. Brings them down to 8. I'm going to let him in. They don't like either of those, but they get 2 cards. They have 3 mana left. And they give it up. That's it. Okay, we'll keep this hand. Going second again is not my preference, but we can get Ascendant Spirit on the board and have a backup. We have a negate, a couple negates. Let's see what happens. Okay, stern dismissal is a good card in the short run. Okay, they got at least 3 colors going here, so yeah, let's see what we got here. I'm just going to come in and try to protect the Ascendant Spirit. And if they don't go after it, we can bulk it up on their turn. Okay, that's good news. That's one of the things I love about Ascendant Spirit. It's got that flexibility. We're coming in as a flyer right away. We're just going to assume that they don't have exile, or if they do, we're going to get a good shot in. Do have another Ascendant Spirit in hand. It's a big creature. And what we'll do is turn dismissal on our turn. And we'll keep a negate in hand. Okay. Okay, excellent. More land. We're going to toss Ascendant Spirit up again here. Ascendant Spirit's doing some good work. I can protect it with a negate, perhaps. If they bring a creature, we can stern dismissal. Okay, they're loaded up with land. Fish out of the sky, we can take care of that. And that's a major coup right there. Okay, we get land, which is fabulous. Could take the big risk and bring this up to 6. 7, bring them down to 4. But I don't feel like we can do that. What we can do is put up Winged Words. And we have 3 mana remaining. We got Saw It Coming, so that's perfect. Come in for 5, so we can counter any single spell they throw at us. And this will be fatal next turn if they can't remove or return or something, as we can buff. We also have Faceless Haven to bring out as a creature. It's going to be a tough road for them. I'm going to give them a good game here, get a little overconfident. Okay, we are loaded up here. So much we can definitely drop this guy into 2 land. We can counter anything they bring at us. This will end the game. They will have something to say about it, I am sure. Yeah, I can stern dismissal. That is the game. Don't scratch that carpet. Hey. Okay, I'll definitely keep this hand. It's excellent. I can get Ascendant Spirit on turn 1. Okay. So the Love-Struck Beast in the wings there. We may, yep, Bone Crusher Giant. Okay. Okay, we'll just sit. We've got Cancel, we've got Sea Dasher. We got Jawari. Yeah, we're going to cancel that. That stops them dead in their tracks. Okay. I expect to see a Bone Crusher Giant here. Okay, and that gives us reason to drop on Sea Dasher. Okay, now we've got Fairy Vandal and Jawari. We'll stay put. No attacks. They may bring on a second Bone Crusher. Oh, wow, that's bad, and thank goodness for Jawari. And here's where this comes in super handy. They've maxed out their mana. And yeah, we can toss up Fairy Vandal at this point. Okay, and now this comes on for 2. And I think we got to do it right now. Buffs up Fairy Vandal. And I think what we're going to do right now is toss on Sea Dasher and go in and attack. Do 3 damage and draw a card. So that's great. Okay, and that's it.